is indeed a pleasure to introduce myself, which is Jim Hill. I'm hosting Imani's Corner, and we have a fabulous, fabulous person that you need to meet. And I am privileged to announce that this is Dr. Boyce, and she is going to start off with a little reading. And you must hear because this is a very, very powerful woman.
How are you today,
I'm
Jim?
doing fine, and you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so blessed to be here to share this time with you. It's my pleasure to be here at Imani's Corner. And I just want to share a little reading that I found among my mother's things.
Okay.
And it would be a great way to introduce the book.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here today, Jim. It's a wonderful opportunity just to share Mom's book, Our Children Want to Know Why. I was going through her things the other day, and I discovered a little introduction she prepared, and so I thought I would share it today. Our Children Want to Know Why by Gloria Alexandria Graham Boyce. Looking forward as we look back. Generation after generation has left behind those thoughts to wonder upon. What can we do as a people of African heritage to lift up ourselves and to even lift up each other as a people? Why shouldn't we look back in remembrance of those who died from inhumane treatment as slaves, or those who died for the satisfaction of others, or those who died for a cause like civil rights? How do we look forward as we look back? The justification for these writings in this book, Our Children Want to Know Why, comes from many experiences in the lives of a people. These experiences were told to children's children and their children. It has been given as a legacy to remember what happened and why, although the why has never been clear. Our children want to know why. The Holocaust was a horrible experience, and a people and the world passed down the memory of it from one generation to the next. Slavery was an inhumane experience. It too must be considered. It must be considered the Black Holocaust. The memory of it should be passed down from one generation to another, a legacy. It should not be forgotten. However, the fears today, first modernization, then socialization, and now privatization, should be examined, especially privatization, a new kind of taskmaster, so that the experiences of any kind of holocaustic slavery will not occur. The question has been asked, why do we continue to have thoughts of our ancestors who were shackled and chained, sold and purchased as slaves? Why would or should we bother to examine it at this time? Is it because within our very hearts and our thoughts, we will always remember those who died because they were of African heritage and not because of status or fame? Why must we think of their cries? Forget me not, for I died for the cause that all men should be freed and equal. Or is it that as time goes by, there will always be something to remind us that although we have struggled to make change in our lives and in our society, there will always be stumbling blocks and disagreeable attitudes? Why should there be unequal conditions and positions in the lives of a people? Why? However, we must have faith that each of our generations will have a difference, and they will make a difference in their lives and in the lives of others. We as a people must place our faith first in God and pray that our faith and our beliefs in change will come true. Our faith will strengthen self to remember that God created all living creatures, which includes humans, black or white. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Because within us, as a people of African heritage, We will always believe every human being God created was born free to contribute love and to refurbish the earth with talents, gifts, and families, so that in this earth, whatever they occupy, wherever they occupy space, they may grow in peace with God's blessing. Therefore, there are different kinds of people from different countries, nationalities, nations, cultures, races, creeds, God's creations. There are different colors, shapes, sizes, languages. There are different kinds of animal species, all colors, shapes, and sizes. There are different kinds of trees, different kinds of leaves and bushes. There are flowers in different colors and shapes. There are birds, there are fowls, there are fish. There is a difference in the color of the sky, depending on the time or season, as well as the weather. The sun rises up and goes down. There are mountains, hills, slopes, rocks, pebbles. There are rivers, seas, lakes, ponds. There are butterflies. There are insects. Why can't everyone accept God's creations? For he created all, and he said, it is good. However, history must proclaim the slavery experiences and happenings in the lives of a people of African heritage and cultures, as well as those associated with just being black. It was an inhumane, destructive experience lined up with hate. And history must proclaim, to continue to hang forever, the experiences and happenings of slavery in the hearts, minds, and also in the environments of each generation of its victims. One can also report that throughout history, there will always be those among a people who will continue to ask the question, why were my ancestors shackled and chained? Why did they suffer so much pain? Why were they sold and purchased to be slaves? Our children want to know why. Does it bother anyone? Does anyone have a thought? Can anyone even think? Is there an answer to why? Or is it because within our very hearts we too will always remember those who suffered because they were of a cultural African heritage? History must proclaim that our forefathers have helped to build up this nation in the fields and in the front lines of many battles between the states and with other nations. Our forefathers and we as a nation have enhanced the economy as well as its industries. And we have, over the years, prayed as a people for God to bless this country, our country called America, the land we helped to fight for and helped to develop. We have prayed for all those who have governed this vast country, and that God will bless their abilities when they are called upon to make decisions on the rights of others, to exercise truth, justice, and equality for all. This means every man, woman, or child, regardless of race, color, or creed. We as a people must remember how our forefathers paid the price with their lives as they hung from many trees or blistered in the hot sun. God's children want to know why.
I am impressed. Now, your mother, Gloria, is obviously a visionary. Tell me a little bit about Gloria, and then we'll get into her book, because I believe that the book is Gloria.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so tell us just a little bit about Gloria. What was she all about?
Mother Boyce, as we called her in her...
Mother Boyce.
Mother Boyce.
Okay.
In her later years, we called her Mother Boyce. In her earlier years as an activist, and the years prior, when she was a very soft-spoken woman that you couldn't hear her voice. She grew up in the culture of Barbadians, and the women were sort of silent, although bold. She spoke of a time when we were children, when she wasn't allowed to come into the room if her husband and his friends were present. But what she transpired to become later on in life happened one day when some local politicians knocked on her door and invited her out to work into the community. It was that knock that changed her life.
Wow.
The candidates at the time were B.D. Markowitz and Howard Shakin.
Wow. Go ahead.
Now, I don't remember if, I think she had the pleasure of one day asking our borough president if he happened to be related to B.D. Markowitz, and he said distantly. But from a shy woman raising 5 children in the Brownsville community, a community in which she was born. She was born in Brownsville.
Okay.
When her parents came, there were still trees in Brownsville, you know, very little housing. But she grew up with a desire to help others. Her father was a Garveyite, and she spoke of times when he would make sure that the community was fed, and they would get sometimes the ends, and he would just say, be grateful for what you have. Her father was a small businessman, and he shared, making sure that everyone was fed during the Depression.
Wow.
Gloria's time, as I mentioned, after that, she was one of the founders of the Brownsville Community Council, and later on she became area chairperson for Model Cities.
Wow.
She helped to usher in the Model Cities community.
I remember that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. When she worked with Model Cities, she served to help bring in housing, economic development. She was at the beginning of the Manpower movement.
Wow.
And one of those to help to break the color barrier at Bethel Hospital. That's what it was called. So she was a part of the group that demonstrated. There was a point when she cried out because they were building so many tall project buildings in Brownsville. She cried out, no more ghettos in the sky.
Ooh.
And that cry echoed throughout the community, and she worked tirelessly with her community. And she was sent by Mayor Lindsay to Boston to look at what we now see the prefab housing that has come in. So before the Nehemiah group, a blessed group in God, a blessed group of ministers who took the helm when it looked like the program would be lost. My mom and Horace Moranci from Model Cities, and so many unsung heroes and sheroes were a part of changing the face of Brownsville.
What a woman. What a woman. I want to get into the book real quickly because I know time is going to fly when you're having fun. The background of the book. Okay. Give us the name first.
Oh, the name of the book is Our Children Want to Know Why.
Now, let me a little bit about the background. The time.
The time frame was the late 1950s into the late 60s. So from the civil rights, the ushering of the civil rights movement, and just touching the Black Power movement.
Okay, the setting?
The setting is Alabama, Auburn, Alabama. And it is, the initial area happens to be the Alabama Teachers College. You know, it is a fictional account.
Okay.
The Alabama Teachers College.
Okay, now we want to know the theme of the book. Let us get into the theme now.
Yes.
God.
God.
Yes.
Yes. So much depends on their faith in God. So many of the areas where conflict arose, where they had to deal with segregation and et cetera, focused in on their belief and faith that God would bring them out and make things better.
Okay, now the church. What type of church are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking, certainly it was the Southern Baptist Church.
Okay. Okay.